Just after Christmas time, I got a call from the nurse at the clinic telling me that they had found a Pseudomonas bacteria in my throat swab or sputum sample, and that was a bit of a shock to me, because that is something, if you have cystic fibrosis, that it's pretty important to deal with it right away and see if you can control it. So they prescribed me an inhaled tobramycin and an oral ciprofloxacin antibiotic, and the combination was about a month of treatment, and it worked. And that's probably the best news that I've got to date, is that I actually was able to control it. And in my most recent sample that they took from me, there was no growth of this particular bacteria, is what it is. That's quite a recent development. So it was a bit of a wake-up call to me too, and I've changed a lot of my my lifestyle habits. I've gotten rid of quite a few bad habits I had that were negative contributors to my health. So it's kind of funny sometimes how you have to be, it's like shock therapy. You know, you hear this bad news about yourself, and I guess makes you realize how precious it is to be walking and breathing. So I certainly appreciate it all the much more now.
One of the things that I like to add about Todd is how anytime you meet him, anybody that meets him loves him the second that they meet him. My family loved him the second that they met him, and all my friends love him, and all his friends love him, and his family obviously loves him tons. But he's one of those guys that he can just talk to anybody, and they'll really like him.
Nice, but doesn't have a locking front differential.
Well, if you ask anybody, they're always going to say the same thing about what Todd's like as a person or whatnot. I mean, he's funny. He's got charisma. He walks into a room and tells a joke, and he's everybody's best friend.
He was going like this even when he went by.
He always has your back when you need that. So.
He built that nice juicy pot up for me. I couldn't resist.
He just loves life. He enjoys every day to the fullest. And I really think, because he has cystic fibrosis and he's always, been to different doctors or whatnot. And I mean, some of the doctors would say expectant lifespan of 10 years old, 21 years old, whatnot. So.
Just one.
Oh my God. Now that we're all freaked out.
I was about to just cry.
I
won lunch money. I won Luke's lunch money.
And that's why he lives every day to the fullest.
It's kind of my new pride and joy. I just love it. And it came to me as a gift from my family, which just blew me away. I love it, and I'm going to be on that thing all the time, whenever I can. And got the jackets. Nicole has a matching jacket and helmet. She's going to come with me, and maybe you'll see me out there. I'll be going pretty fast. It's a pretty vicious bike too. So
Great gamble.
looking for a chopper.
Oh, your shopper.
What do you got for me?
Right here.
You got it sitting right there?
Perfect for you.
Think that would be the best one for me?
What do you think?
I think so. All right, I'll take it.
Take it. Perfect.
That was an incredible experience. Wind in your hair, frostbite in your fingertips. Racing John, I beat him, as you can tell.
Yeah, he was using my bike.
Yeah.
It's always a catch.
Yeah, that's right. No, that was good times. Definitely recommend getting one of these little things. I promised myself that when April comes that I'm going back into that very same kind of rigorous routine. Not because it's bathing suit season coming up, just because I've sort of got this sort of renewed kind of lease or new perspective. I'll keep my airways clean and just keep my immune system at its best that it can be.
Todd's goal was to gain about 15 pounds of muscle and to incorporate a healthier diet, not only diet, but incorporate a healthier way of life. So it made for an interesting 3 months, but he managed to achieve his goal.
He's definitely a great guy, really easy to get along with, very open to learning, and really excited about that. And you can see that he's really excited about making his gains and learning more. He's very attentive, and each day I work with him, I kind of throw in a little something new and tell him a little more about how to attain his specific goals. He's always very receptive, with it. And I remember the first day actually I trained with him, we trained legs, and the final exercise was stiff leg deadlifts. And it's kind of a tricky one. A lot of people tend to do it improperly, rolling forward with their shoulders and back and placing too much stress on the lower back when we're supposed to be stretching the hamstrings. And it's a kind of tricky one to get down the movement just right. And we must have spent, he was so determined to get it right, we must have spent about a half hour just going through that exercise just to make sure that he had it right, so that the next week, if I wasn't available for that day, he could be sure that he was doing it correctly. I'm going to be training with him as much as I can. I told him, anytime, call me up. It's fun to actually train alongside with him. I'm lifting with him when I'm training him. But for the most part, when you're training someone, it's going to be for a limited amount of time. Typically you work with someone for 2 to 3 months and kind of guide them along the way and keep in touch afterwards. Assist them with, advances in their workouts, changing things around, showing them a few new things to kind of spice it up. And that's very important. You try to teach them all these things, and so that they can once they're done with you, they can go out on their own, and it's really teaching them that it is a lifestyle, and it can be fun. You can make your training fun and interesting, and the more they know about what they're doing and why they're doing it, the more they'll stay consistent with it. A lot of people start training and drop out within the first 2 months. Over 50% of people will drop out of training. And a lot of it, I think, is just because of these insecurities and not really sure that they know what they're doing. So simply, instead of just showing them the movement and say, okay, that's it, try to explain to them what exactly it is they're working, how that's going to help them, teaching them about nutrition, and just a bunch of different things like that are going to help them kind of spark more interest in them so that they start to learn on their own.
So I guess the best advice I could give to somebody who wants to do this, who wants to eat better and become more fit and go to the gym, I guess the best thing I could recommend is to do it with a friend, do it with somebody, approach a professional in the business. They know what they're doing, they know how to train you properly, they know how to give you a proper meal plan, they know what you need. So if you go by yourself, I've tried that, and as far as the eating goes, I didn't realize how much science there is behind that as well. So that would be my advice, is to approach somebody, approach a friend. We all have friends. We all have that friend who's healthy, and we all wish we did it. Call that friend and ask for their help. That's what I would do. That's what I did, I guess.
Well, Todd's focus and determination can certainly be an inspiration to us all. He has a few more challenges to face than most of us do on a regular basis, and yet he does it with a smile on his face. It just goes to show that you don't have to let obstacles get in the way of achieving what you're after. I'm your host, Sebastian MacLean. That's it for this episode of Body Quest. We'll see you next time.